everyone, this is Mr. Ahmed Sharawi. Welcome back to your English language learning channel. Today we will have a new lesson. This lesson is about commas. What is the objective or the goal of this lesson? The goal of this lesson is to learn about different uses of commas. So, what is a comma? A comma is a punctuation mark that separates elements or ideas. A comma tells the readers when they could pause. Commas are one of the most common punctuation marks. Sentences with missing commas can be difficult for readers to understand. Commas could make a huge difference in the meaning of the sentence, and this is what we will see now, that forgetting about the comma could make a problem, could make a misunderstanding. So before we see the picture here, I want you to think of a question. Do these sentences have the same meaning? Did the comma help change the meaning? The only difference between these two sentences is the use of the comma. The one on the right side is the right use of the comma. Let's eat kitty. Now you're talking to the kitty, you say let's eat. But the other one on the left side, it's let's eat kitty. So kitty here is an object. Kitty here is what you will eat, and this is totally wrong. So as you can see, they say that commas could save lives. Now we get to the different uses of the commas. So before we start, I'd like to ask one question. How many uses of the comma do you know? What do you think? Are they 3 uses? 5? More than 5? Maybe 10? There are more than 10 uses of the commas. You will see. The first one is to set off an introductory word. Yes, no, well. To separate items in a series. Number 3, in a date, place name, or address. Number 4, to set off a name. Number 5, as a replacement of dashes or parentheses. Number 6, to introduce direct speech. Number 7, in compound sentences. Number 8, in complex sentences. Number 9, you use it with numbers. Number 10, the opening of a friendly letter. And number 11, the last one, is the closing word of any letter. So as you can see here, there are 11 different uses of commas. We will get to know each one individually. The first one is using a comma with introductory words. We use commas after words like yes, no, well, next, eventually, after that, finally, however. Do you like pizza? Yes, I do. So after using yes or no, of course, you have to add a comma. Another example is when you say, well, I tried. Another one is when you put the story, or when you write a story and you want to show the sequence. So first, second, next, after that, finally, all of these you will have to add a comma after using them. The second use is to separate items in a series, and this comes with adjectives, verbs, or nouns. We use commas to separate items. The kids picked, washed, and ate the vegetables. As you see in the first example, these are a series of verbs: picked, washed, and ate. The second example, Jake, Sarah, and Lucy. So as you can see, these are a series of names. The third one, my brother is fast, smart, and good looking. These are a series of adjectives. So whenever you have series of items, let's say names, verbs, adjectives, if there are 3 or more than 3, you will have to add commas, as you can see here in these examples. The third use is when you are writing a date or place name. The first example says, my uncle lives in Malibu, LA. So this is a place name, Malibu, LA. You need to use a comma between Malibu and LA. Another example is an address. As you can see, you will also have to add commas. The third example is the book fair is on March 14, 2021 at the public library. So as you can see here in the date, you will have to add a comma after the number. So you start with the month, followed by the number, and then you add comma, then you add the year. If you are adding a place after the year, you will have to add another comma. If you just end the sentence with the year, you will put a period. Number 4, to set off a name. If you like to mention someone in your sentence, you would use a comma. Emma, did you make your bed? So this is how we use it. You will need to use a comma here. The next use is as a replacement of dashes or parentheses. So as you can see here, that sometimes you use dashes to maybe if you like to mention or to add an additional information that is not so important, or it's not affecting the meaning or the message in this sentence, you might use dashes or commas or even parentheses. Number 6, when you introduce direct speech. To introduce direct speech, you need to use a comma after the introductory phrase. Alex said, "I'll help mom now." So you will need a comma before the direct speech. John asked Peter, "Did you see my car keys?" You notice that even if it's a question, you will also have to add a comma before the direct speech. If you start with the direct speech, you will have to add a comma at the end of the direct speech and before the quotation mark. The 7th use is in compound sentences. The example says, "I like pizza, but my sister likes pasta." So whenever you use coordinating conjunctions like but, so, yet, and, you will have to add a comma before adding the coordinating conjunction. The next use is when you are writing complex sentences, and this is something we mentioned before in the sentence structure video. I will tell you after we see these examples. Even though I hate pizza, my sister keeps cooking it. So when you start with the subordinating conjunction, when you start with the dependent sentence, as you can see in these two examples, you will have to add a comma. If you start with the independent clause, like my sister keeps cooking pasta, even though I hate it, in this case you will not add a comma. If the subordinating conjunction is in the middle of the sentence, no need to add a comma. The next use is when you use commas with numbers. 39,780 people arrived to demonstrate in Arizona against racism. So as you can see, you have 5 digits here. You have to separate the first 3 digits by adding a comma. And this is from the right side. You count 1, 2, 3 digits, comma, 1, 2, 3 digits, comma, and so on. The next use is in the opening of a friendly letter. You will have to use a comma. As you can see in this example, "Dear Jonathan," and then you add a comma, then you write the introductory. The last use of commas is the closing word of any letter. So whenever you write the closing word of any letter, you will have to add a comma, and then you add your signature or your name. These are all the uses of the commas. There are more than 10. You may know 2 or 3 of them for sure, but not many people know all these uses. It is so important in writing that you write the commas. Don't forget, practice makes perfect. Now you know the rule. You need to apply, you need to try using these commas now. After you learn about this grammar rule, you will need to write some sentences using these commas. So the assignment will be that you will leave a comment with 4 sentences showing 4 different uses of commas. So you have 11 different uses of commas. Just show me 4 different uses of commas in a comment on this video. Thank you so much. Bye.